What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Bluebird Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So just read an interview, just listened to an interview done by former unified British heavyweight world champion Anthony Joshua, as he talks about his upcoming highly anticipated rematch with current unified Mexican heavyweight world champion Andy Ruiz Jr., Destroyer. Anthony Joshua had this to say in regards to his rematch. He stated that, it's definitely important for his legacy and for his career. But this is not the end of him, win, lose, or draw. Anthony Joshua says that he will continue on and carry on his career, win, lose, or draw in this rematch, December 7th in Saudi Arabia. Anthony Joshua says that he's preparing the best he can possibly can. He wants to be, obviously unified once again. He wants to recapture his titles, and he would love to do so. He says that, but this is not a make 'em break 'em type of fight for him, because he plans on fighting another 5 to 7, 8 years, right? He plans to continue his career, win, lose, or draw. He said that he plans to be in the best shape and the best condition and with the best possible game plan to see him victorious against Andy Ruiz Jr. Anthony Joshua is bringing in high-profile sparring partners to prepare himself for this rematch, which is a good thing. He said that, he didn't have the proper sparring partners going into the first fight. He stated that, it's very hard to prepare for Andy Ruiz, because of his stature and his style. So it makes it a very, very difficult style, and it makes it a very, very difficult fight for him, right? Because he's 6'6", 250 pounds. Andy Ruiz is about 6 feet tall, and he's about 250 pounds. So Anthony Joshua says that, it's difficult for him to prepare for guys with such a short stature. So it was difficult for him to find multiple sparring partners. He had Joey DeWeco, which I think is the perfect sparring partner for him to prepare. If you ever seen Joey DeWeco fight, I've watched Joey DeWeco fight numerous of times. He's a guy out of Philadelphia. He has a very, very similar style to Andy Ruiz Jr. So I think that's the perfect sparring partner. Now, it was rumored that Joey DeWeco was the fighter that knocked Anthony Joshua out in sparring leading up into the first fight, June 1st at Madison Square Garden in New York City, the most famous arena in the world. And this is why Anthony Joshua's dad and his team were cautious, and skeptical of him taking the first fight. They wanted him to pull out. They said that he suffered an injury, but that's all alleged, right? Nobody knows but the people that was there. So with that said, I think that Joey DeWeco is the perfect sparring partner. I don't know if he's going to use him for this fight. I definitely think that he should. With that said, I know he's bringing in guys like Andrew Tabiti. Andrew Tabiti is a high-profile. I believe Andrew Tabiti, if I'm not mistaken, is a cruiserweight, if I'm not mistaken. Or a light heavyweight. I believe he's a cruiserweight or light heavyweight. I'm not sure. He's a TBT, Mayweather Promotions fighter, right? I watched him train. I watched him fight. He fought in the World Boxing Super Series tournament. He lost in the Super Series tournament. But, he's a shorter stature guy with quick hands and power. He doesn't have the frame as Andy Ruiz Jr. He's more sculpted, cut up. But he is shorter. He has a lot of power, and he's quick. He has a lot of counter ability. So, that's a good match. You know what I mean? But I think that Joey DeWeco is, the identical match to Andy Ruiz Jr. as far as trying to prepare for Andy Ruiz. With that said, Anthony Joshua doesn't believe another loss will derail his career or his legacy. He believes that he win, lose, or draw, he can rebuild his career. The sport of boxing is tricky and it's funny in that way. Some guys can rebuild their career. Manny Pacquiao was a guy who had 2 knockout losses before he became the Manny Pacquiao, Pac-Man Pacquiao that today, that we all know and love today's time. That's not the same guy that we saw getting knocked out early in his career. Then Manny Pacquiao obviously was knocked out by Juan Manuel Marquez. So Manny Pacquiao has multiple losses on his resume, and he was able to rebuild. So it's all about public perception. It's all about your style as well. Styles make fights. You got guys like Derek Chisora, who people love to see fight, and Derek Chisora has 9 losses. You know what I mean? But outside of Manny Pacquiao, you know, there's not a lot of high profile blue chip type of guys that took losses like this and able to bounce back and still build on their legacy. It's not too many guys like that, you know. So can Anthony Joshua do so? Yeah. Is he going to be the same? Is he going to be perceived the same? No. You know, he was perceived as the golden boy, the golden child. You understand what I'm saying? You know, I think that this losing to Andy Ruiz again will possibly derail Anthony Joshua's career. And, you know, he will be looked at as an opponent, opposed to being looked at as the upper echelon in the heavyweight division. He'll become the opponent. You see what I'm saying? He'll no longer be, he'll be the B-side. He'll always be the opponent. Now, it's a possibility that he could win the title again. You understand? We saw George Foreman come back after years after the Muhammad Ali loss and, you know, coming back and reinventing himself. That's what type of reinventation that Anthony Joshua would need. But we saw guys like Evander Holyfield lose to Riddick Bowe, Lennox Lewis, and still be, you know, looked at as, you know, a high upper echelon type of fighter. So it's not out of the question to say that Anthony Joshua can't do so, because he can. It's just that he was overly praised and uplifted, you know, as the face of boxing. So there's a lot of stigma that comes along with Anthony Joshua because people didn't like the way he was moving. They didn't like the, you know, the how he was moving on the board, on the chessboard. You understand? People didn't like the fact that he didn't fight Deontay Wilder when he should. You know, now you're gonna get people that back him, that push him, that support him. Or that's everybody. That's every heavyweight. You understand? That's every boxer, should I say? You know, but he lost a lot of, he left a lot of money on the table should he lose this fight with Andy Ruiz, because he could have a loss. It depends on who you lose to as well. Now, let's say he loses to Andy Ruiz Jr. in this rematch. You know, and Andy Ruiz, it depends what Andy Ruiz does after that. You see, when Evander Holyfield lost to Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis, look what they did after that. So it was a testament to Evander Holyfield. You see what I'm saying? Because he did beat Riddick Bowe. He drew with Evander Holyfield for the first time. I didn't think it was a draw. I definitely thought that Lennox Lewis clearly won the first fight with Evander Holyfield. But, you know, he beat Mike Tyson. See, he has signature wins, Evander Holyfield, in his career. Just like Riddick Bowe, he lost to Galata. You know, he didn't fight Lennox Lewis, and people, that is the asterisk by his career because he never fought Lennox Lewis. When you think of Riddick Bowe, you think of Lennox Lewis in that situation with him throwing the belt in the garbage. So, you know, but the difference is Evander Holyfield beat Mike Tyson. You see what I'm saying? He was undisputed at cruiserweight. So Evander Holyfield already had an accomplished, decorated background, but by the time he started losing to guys like Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis and things of that nature, you understand? Anthony Joshua doesn't have those signature wins in his career. If he would have beaten, let's say, a Deontay Wilder, if he would have beaten, let's say, well, he has the Vladimir Klitschko defeat, but the problem with that is there's an asterisk by that because Vladimir Klitschko was 40 plus years of age, 39, 40 years old, coming off almost a 2-year layoff and a loss to Tyson Fury. So, you know, it's not perceived the same way as Mike Tyson was perceived for Evander Holyfield. You understand? And then he didn't beat a Tyson Fury. You understand? He needs to beat one of these guys. So if he has back-to-back losses to Andy Ruiz and then Andy Ruiz goes against a Deontay Wilder and gets blown out, or a Tyson Fury and gets blown out and there's no match for them guys, then guess what happens? Anthony Joshua's stock drop along with Andy Ruiz. Coincidentally, right? That's just the way it's going to go. You understand? But if Andy Ruiz goes ahead and beats Tyson Fury, it puts Anthony Joshua back in the mix. I know a lot of people don't understand what I'm saying. I'm trying to break it down to you. Evander Holyfield beat Mike Tyson and he lost to Riddick Bowe. He beat Riddick Bowe. He lost to Lennox Lewis, but those were entertaining fights. You know, so it was kind of a deal of a round robin. You understand what I'm saying? So he had his share of wins in that circle as well. The only signature win Anthony Joshua has is the Vladimir Klitschko fight. That's it. See, because there's an asterisk by Dillian White's career. He beat Dillian White, but there's an asterisk by him. He beat Alexander Povetkin, but he also, too, there's an asterisk by him. Because we talking about guys that allegedly failed tests for performance-enhancing drugs. You understand? Allegedly. Well, they both failed. You know, you understand what I'm saying? So, then he never fought Luis Ortiz. Deontay Wilder has that signature win against Ortiz. He has that signature fight. He didn't get the win, but he drew with Tyson Fury. It's just like I told you. Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield drew the first time. Whether you thought Lennox Lewis won, Holyfield won, however you slice it, at the end of the day on the record, it says they drew. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, they drew. Now they're going to go into a high-profile rematch should Deontay Wilder get past Luis Ortiz. It's going to take for Anthony Joshua to defeat a Luis Ortiz. He's going to have to defeat, go in there and fight a Joe Joyce. He's going to have to fight Alexander Usyk. If he gets a win against an Alexander Usyk and a Joe Joyce, you understand, that puts him back on the road to recovery, and then we could start talking about and building up again a fight between himself and Deontay Wilder. But until he does those types of things, until he accomplishes those types of feats, his career is going to plummet. It's going to take a major hit because he never fought Ortiz. He never fought Tyson Fury. You never fought Deontay Wilder. And then you lost twice back-to-back to Andy Ruiz. And what you was a huge favorite in the first fight, and you a favorite going into the second fight. So if he loses both fights, it's going to be kind of like when Juan Ma lost those fights to Orlando Salido. They was bigging up Juan Ma to face Yuriokis Gamboa. That was a major fight that was on the table. And he was supposed to face Orlando Salido, and that was supposed to be, you know, a tough test, but he was supposed to pass it with flying colors. Everybody expected him. And guess what he did? He lost to Salido. Then he went to the rematch with Salido, and he lost again. So the fight with him and Yuriokis Gamboa never came to fruition. It lost all its luster because it seemed that he was exposed now. You understand what I'm saying? And so this is the same situation we're going to have with Anthony Joshua. Should Anthony Joshua lose again to Andy Ruiz? No, bro, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to rebuild your legacy. You're just going to be fighting for the sake of fighting. And this is what he said. He going to fight for the love of the sport of boxing. And nobody could blame him. But as far as his legacy, rebuilding it's going to be very, very difficult for him to do so because he don't have a real significant signature win in his career outside of Vladimir Klitschko. And there's an asterisk about that. He wasn't a champion. He was past his prime. He was 40 years old. He was coming off a loss and he coming off almost a 2-year layoff. So it's going to be like, and you fought tooth and nail in that fight. You nearly was knocked out in that fight, and people feel like Vladimir Klitschko just didn't have enough to do what it took to close the show because he was past his prime. So just think, he didn't have what it takes, and you fought tooth and nail with a guy that came off a 2-year layoff, got off his couch, come off a loss to Tyson Fury, lost his belts. You understand what I'm saying? Was 40 years, almost 40 years old. I think he was 39 years old, 40 years plus age. And you went tooth and nail with this guy. So imagine people going to say, well, guess what? If Vladimir was in his prime, he would have beat Anthony Joshua. Because we see Anthony Joshua couldn't get past Andy Ruiz, who was a step up from, because I believe Andy Ruiz would beat Dillian White. I think Andy Ruiz would beat Alexander Povetkin. You understand? So Joseph Parker, I thought Andy Ruiz already beat Joseph Parker. You understand what I'm saying? So this is the toughest test for Anthony Joshua. As soon as he officially stepped up, he lost. And imagine if Andy Ruiz goes in there with Deontay Wilder, gets blown out in the 3rd round. Nobody gonna call for a rematch. And indirectly, Joshua's career and legacy is gonna take a hit. So this is a major fight for Anthony Joshua. Everything's on the line for him. So I know he's trying to downplay it to take a little bit of the pressure off himself, but you can't do it, bro. Real boxing fans, real boxing pundits, real media, everybody knows the truth. This is a mega fight. It's a mega fight for both because just like I stated before, we never got the chance to see James Buster Douglas rematch Mike Tyson to see if it was truly a fluke or a style matchup, right? Was Mike Tyson just had too many distractions, wasn't focused, and wasn't properly prepared for James Buster Douglas? And was James Buster Douglas, we know he had just lost his mom prior to that, and did he have a huge chip on his shoulder? He had motivation? Would he have been able to do it again? Because, see, I think if Buster Douglas would have went into a rematch with Mike Tyson, we would have seen a more prepared and focused James Buster Douglas than we did that version of that fought Evander Holyfield and got knocked out. And we never was privy to that. We lost that opportunity because Mike Tyson, we know what happened. The rest was history after that. So we never saw. So this is the biggest fight in Andy Ruiz's career because he has to prove that it wasn't a fluke. He has to prove that his style is all wrong for Joshua. I believe so, but he has to prove it, right? He has to prove that he didn't catch lightning in a bottle. He has to prove all of these things that Anthony Joshua was just not focused and locked in. See, he has a lot to prove as well. So that's what makes this fight so intriguing and so big. So yeah, Anthony Joshua, you got a lot of pressure on you. I know you're saying now, it sounds good now that I'll just go ahead and continue my career still fighting and fight for another 5 to 10 years. That sounds good with no pressure to build up your legacy, but you still got to prove this is a big fight. And we got to see how you react after this fight because you didn't react great after the first loss. So I don't expect you to act great after the second loss and just carry on with your career, business as usual. When your career and stock has dropped and plummeted heavily. So let's see how this plays out December 7th. I can't wait. But that's all I got for y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV. All one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share this video. That's all I got for y'all. Anthony Joshua says, regardless of what takes place in this rematch, highly anticipated rematch December 7th in Saudi Arabia with Andy Ruiz Jr., current unified Mexican heavyweight champion, he says that he will continue on his career as business as usual for another 5 to 10 years and build up his legacy. Let's see if that's the case. That's all I got for y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue. I'm signing off. Peace.